All right, welcome back. It's brew day again. So today I'm brewing up a London porter. So I've sort of got a recipe from, well, I think it's like the Fuller's London porter recipe. So I'm kind of doing my own variation of that. I thought it'd be a nice beer to sort of tuck away and maybe have over Christmas. So it's kind of like September now. Thought I'd be able to get it done, condition it for a couple of months, and hopefully it'll be hunky-dory just around sort of Christmas time. So yeah, I have very limited time. I'm in a bit of a rush today, but I need to get this brew on, otherwise, because I'm chock-a-block over the weekend, so I need to get this done this afternoon, which means me cutting a few corners. As I've mentioned, I bought a Brewzilla G4 all-in-one brewing system, all singing, all dancing, does everything for you, blah, blah, blah. But I found that it does take quite a while to get my brew done from start to finish. There's a lot of cleaning up and all that kind of stuff, and I really just haven't got time for that today. So call me crazy, but I am doing a full volume, brew in a bag type brew in my Brewzilla. So I've got my water heating up at the moment. I've got 27 litres or so heating up in there at the moment, and I'm going to be mashing for an hour, boiling for half an hour, cooling it down in a fermenter in the fridge, hopefully all done and dusted within a couple of hours, because that's basically all I've got. So yeah, so I've taken inspiration on the recipe from the Fuller's London Porter recipe, which is a lovely beer if you get a chance to try it. Available in bottles, and if you're lucky enough, on cask as well. But yeah, it's a cracking beer. Sweet, it's got a sort of residual sweetness to it. It's not as bitter as a stout, really dark and unctuous and lovely. It's a really nice sort of autumn winter beer. So I had a few bottles the other day, I felt inspired, so I got the ingredients I'm ready to brew. Got a slight difference in that I wanted to try out some different hops, which I'll get to in a moment. So the fermentables is my grain bill. This is a 23 litre batch, which hopefully is going to come out around 5.5% ABV. So I have got 3.7 kilograms of pale malt, best pale malt, I think it's Simpson's. I've got 660 grams of brown malt, which is quite an important addition to porters, so I'm led to believe. I've got 440 grams of Crystal T50 and 340 grams of chocolate, which I think is crisp. So I used those to try and achieve the correct colour, which is 53 EBC. So this falls within the ranges of an English porter, brown porter, whatever the style is. So I think the Fuller's recipe either uses East Kent Golding or Fuggles, I'm not sure, but I've seen quite a few recipes for porter which use Bramling Cross hops, which sounded delicious in this. So Bramling Cross, if you're not familiar, is an English hop. It's said to give out kind of hedgerow, blackcurrant, blackberry, hints of citrus, herbal, that kind of stuff, which I'm hoping will really complement this sort of sweet porter, dark, roasty, chocolatey type thing that's going to be happening here. So I'm using Bramling Cross. I've got 100 grams here. So I'm going with 30 minutes, 40 grams. These are 6%. Oh no, these are 4.7%. Ooh, might need to adjust this. But so I'm going with maybe 50 grams at 30 minutes, 25 grams at 15 minutes, and 25 grams at 5 minutes. So I'm shooting for 31 IBUs, there or thereabouts. So yep, and that's going to be fermented with Bond yeast, which is WHC, which is an English ale yeast. Yeah, I don't know what I can say about that really. It is clean, aggressive, attenuative, ABV tolerant, highly flocculent yeast, blah blah blah. So any English ale yeast is good, I guess. You probably want to go for maybe, SO4 or one of the liquid ones, but WHC bond, I think it's going to be absolutely fine in this. So that's it. So I ordered all this stuff from Malt Miller. It came in 2 bags for some reason. So they gave me the Simpsons, it says on it, Simpsons Best Pale Ale malt in 1 bag. And then all the roasted malts in a separate bag. So I've got here, 340 grams of crisp chocolate malt, 440 grams of Simpsons Crystal T50, and 660 grams of crisp brown malt. So I don't know whether they've done that for a reason, i.e. you're supposed to have these later on in the mash or something, but I'm going to just go chuck it all in the mash, let it go for 60 minutes at 67 degrees. Is that what I said? Yeah, 67 degrees for an hour. Pull out my bag and then boil. So I'm doing a 30-minute boil. There's my hop additions, and then that's it. So fairly straightforward. Bish bash bosh. I know it's not the best way to use an expensive piece of equipment, but you know, needs must when we are limited in time. So there we go. If anyone's got any better ideas, you know, feel free to let me know. And I'll see you at the end for the tasting. Cheers. Right, here it is. So this is my London Porter, poured directly from my King Keg pressure barrel, and it is looking rather lovely in the glass. Just to prove that I did actually pour this from a pressure barrel, there's no tomfoolery going on here. Here's a video to show the pour. Okay, so there we go. Sexy little pour video. Yeah, it was a short and shoddy brew day, so cut a few corners. I didn't know how well it was going to turn out, and I had an empty pressure barrel, so I thought I'd dump it straight in the pressure barrel. I used about 75 grams of dextrose to prime it. Done the lid up. Didn't use any kind of lubrication. I just kind of put a bit of sanitizer around it so it was wet, screwed it up, not too tight. And let it sit somewhere nice and warm for a couple of weeks. It's been out in the shed ever since, so it's been conditioning now for about 4 weeks. And that's how it's poured out. So absolutely beautiful pint, and I'm really glad I used the pressure barrel for this. I don't use it enough. Every time I do a brew and put it in a pressure barrel, I really enjoy the results. So excuse me, gives that real nice sort of spritzy carbonation that I've mentioned before. Perfect for this style in my opinion. So very much like a cask ale that you get in the pub. Now it would be served, probably be better served through a hand pull, but to be honest, I've got the same kind of regular tap that comes with the King Keg. Never had any problems with that. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years now, never had a single problem with it. Touch wood, touch wood. So yeah, kind of, you know, I could maybe upgrade it to one of those sparkler taps, but as I say, never had any problems, so I'd never swapped it. So yeah, and it pours out like that. So beautiful, nice, tight, creamy, sort of off-white, I don't know what you call it, maybe a sort of cappuccino coloured, latte coloured head, which is quite apt actually, because there's a lot of coffee coming off of this. It's absolutely beautiful pint. So as I said at the start, this is kind of a bit of a rush brew. It was a brew in a bag, sort of, I don't know, probably the wrong way to use an expensive all-in-one system, but I thought I'd try and experiment with kind of full volume brew in a bag type style in the Brewzilla. As a result, it probably shaved off a little time with sparging and all that kind of stuff, but the knock-on effect of that obviously is my efficiency was way off of what I was expecting. So, you know, I missed my OG by a country mile. I think it's finished up maybe about 4.5%, 4.7 maybe, instead of like 5 point whatever it was I was aiming for. But having said all of that, and it being a rush job and me kind of not really taking much care, excuse me, still got this cough. It's turned out probably one of the best beers I've brewed all year. So I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I've got to say, I think the Bramling hops have worked really, really well with this. The base malt, the grain bill was sort of inspired by the Fuller's London Porter recipe, pretty well documented recipe on there, uses the brown malt. Absolutely delicious, I have to say. It has turned out cracking, and I don't know whether it's because I missed my OG and kept to the same hop schedule that it's kind of turned out probably maybe a little bit more bitter than the Fuller's London Porter is. That's quite a sort of sweet, not very bitter porter. This has got a bit of bitterness to it, and it's really, really nice actually. So I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. It's real nice notes of coffee and chocolate. And the other thing to mention here is I was a bit concerned about putting the roasted malts in the mash at the start. They came in a separate bag, although I ordered kind of like just a random kit from the malt miller. Well, not a kit, it was like I ordered the ingredients for a custom recipe that I put in. They did actually supply the roasted malts in a separate bag, so I don't know whether they're kind of expecting me to put in those separately towards the end of the mash, which seems to be the thing to do. But having said that, I put it in at the start and I noticed no kind of astringency or any kind of over bitterness from the malts in this. The bitterness is coming from the hops, not the malts. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably do it again just the same way. Saves kind of faffing about with adding your malts in later on, forgetting about that. You can kind of just dump them in and let your system do your thing. So really, really pleased with how it's turned out. I used the WHC yeast, and I think that was the first time I'd used it. So that's turned out really well as well. And as I say, combination of the dark malts and the Bramling Cross hops seem to have worked really nicely. It's not a hoppy beer by any stretch of the imagination, but I guess there's kind of a bit of a hint or a suggestion of some darker fruits in it. It's a touch of vanilla as well, I've just got from that. Sort of like a vanilla chocolate type thing going on. But yeah, it's chocolatey, it's coffee, there's a hint of vanilla, there's a touch of kind of dark fruit in it. It's really a nicely well balanced beer, and has definitely inspired me to do another porter before the spring starts. So I think I'm going to be brewing another one. Maybe I'll stick to the recommended kind of workflow for all-in-one systems with sparging, etc. to hit my OG. But actually, it's turned out a bit more of a sessionable beer, and it is a sessionable beer as well. You can kind of have a few of these without it kind of feeling like, you've had a 3-course meal, which some kind of stouts and, those heavy porters kind of give you that, full feeling, shall we say. So, I'm going to definitely chalk this one up as a success. And if you like porters, London Porters, give it a go. Would highly recommend it. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of this and the rest of my barrel, although I have put a fairly big dent in that barrel over the last few weeks, as it's rather moorish. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. And yeah, that's it really. Anyway, see you next time. Cheers.